has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000 is the number if you want to reach out after the first break. Well, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff over this last weekend, what's been happening specifically in New York City, and reminding me of something, as it often does. My day job, when I'm not doing cool things like this, is I'm either a business or political consultant. When I do political or business consulting, I should say, for some family-owned large businesses, there can be a problem. And the problem could be the family. So this wonderful person runs an accounting firm, and she has a nephew who is not really great at anything. But her brother is always bugging her, hey, help out my son, help out my son. So she says, fine, I'll give him a spot here in my accounting firm. Now, the problem is, sadly, this young man is not very good at anything at the accounting firm. But because he's the nephew, we got to give him something. And now, in this case, she has built a large organization. Nephew's been there for many years. So you got to promote him. So he's been promoted now. So now he's a manager or a director or something. He was incompetent before. He's still incompetent now. No one's asked him to be competent, so he stays as incompetent as he's always been. So now what do? Well, you can't insult him because he's the boss's nephew. So to get things done at the firm, you've got to go around him somehow, or pretend like he's in charge, or do something that is kind of, I guess you might say, unethical or wrong, or even at some point, maybe even lie to get the job done. And you might go, Larry, that's terrible. I don't want to lie to get my job done. I don't want to be, kind of dodging things and maybe playing fast and loose with the rules of the truth to get the job done. I don't want to get fired. I like my job. I think we do good work at this accounting firm, so I do it. Reminds me a little bit of like The Mob. Remember the HBO TV series, The Sopranos? Anybody who might watch that show? Back in the day, there are the family boss passes, and the question becomes, is Tony Soprano going to be the boss, or is Junior Soprano going to be the boss? Which one's going to be the boss? So they don't want to have a fight. So Tony pretends like Junior's the boss, and in reality, Tony's the boss. So they got to lie to make sure there's no war. But what winds up happening in every single case? Eventually, that system collapses. Eventually, either the company, in the case of the accounting firm, suffers terribly and loses people because talent just won't put up with the corruption, or they won't put up with the nephew, or the nephew stays and makes things worse for the entire company, or she has to eventually fire her nephew, he's screwed, and her brother's mad at her for the next 20 years. In the case of Sopranos, what happened? Civil war within the mob family. Yes, that's what happened. Bad, bad, and bad. So you might say, okay, that sounds terrible, Larry. How does that affect government? Well, when you have a system that is based upon corruption, that you must lie and do all the things, then you wind up having a similar situation than this. Now, here's the weird part. People are thinking, well, Larry, that's because nepotism. Okay, I get that. I do. And the funny part is, New York mayors, for years, New York City mayors have hired their family and friends. That's been a thing for a long time. But they always try to say, well, they're the most qualified or whatever. It's been a lie, but they give their friends jobs. Now, that happens all over. I'm talking specifically about New York City, though. Why? Because when Eric Adams came in, he did the same thing. But when people attacked him on it, he actually did something which I actually gave him respect for. At the time, I said it publicly. He actually said, yes, I'm going to give my family and friends jobs. Everybody does it. I'm just telling you, it's getting done. And I thought, oh, you know what? I think you are a bad mayor, but that was actually a good thing. And I want to give credit where credit was due. You're saying that's how it is. Done. I'm doing it. I'm not hiding what I'm doing. It's out in the open. Everybody does it. If you're going to hammer me, hammer every mayor and governor before me too, or stop complaining. And it actually worked. And kudos to him for that, right? I always give credit where credit's due. That was a good move. I'm happy he did it. So now the system can either change or shut up, but stop acting like it's doing something good when it's not. And the system said, oh, I'm gonna shut up. He said nothing. Okay, we can't get rid of nepotism. So let's just make it open then, because that's all we can do. And that's what actually happened. So he actually has hired many of his family members openly and friends. Okay, I may not like it, but the world's not going to end. So now you're saying to yourself, wait a minute. Larry, he's in trouble though. Isn't they I'm like probing him for things and the FBI is involved and blah, blah, blah. Isn't that true? Yes. Well, it's because there's nepotism. No, that's fine. That's the crazy part. That's the okay part. They're not worried about it at all. So we all know he's corrupt, but then that's it. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Amazing. So why? What's this whole thing about? Well, there's a whole lot of stuff going on with Mr. Adams here. A lot. But if you notice something that people don't notice at all, it's the feds. The feds. Huh. Why are the feds involved in this? Isn't there a state agency that could attack him? Isn't there a police force in New York City that could attack him? Aren't there state police? Isn't there a DA? Don't we have an AG here in New York State who could attack him? I don't see that though. That's weird. Why not? Maybe because Eric Adams actually said, no, I'm shining a light on how bad we are. Again, I'm not supporting Eric Adams. He's a terrible mayor, but it doesn't mean he does everything bad. Even bad people can sometimes do good things. I should say good, can do correct things. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. In this case, he did. They're not coming to him after that. They're coming to him because supposedly he had some issues with like the Turkish government or something. I don't know details, something like that. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. But now they're after him. But here's the hardest part. Is he fighting it? He's not really. Now, why wouldn't he? Because of the whole thing I brought up earlier with the nepotism piece. When it came to nepotism in the private sector, and also now, sadly, sometimes in the public sector, nepotism is the way. If you're listening now and you live in New York, you remember several years back, for the past couple years, a lot of New York politicians have been arrested, have been charged with corruption or whatever the case may be, and have actually done time, gone to jail. Anybody remember, of all of them, which ones said they didn't do it? Like, which was their defense they didn't do it? I'll give you the answer. None. None of them deny it. Let me say it again. None of them deny it. What do they always say? What's always their fight? And they go to court. Like, they go to court. They say, I did it, and we're going to court. And their logic is, well, no. Whatever I did, I had to do to get the job done. That literally is their argument. I can't do my job without being corrupt because the system is so broken. I can't serve the people. I mean, they're not serving them, but in theory, they're serving them. I can't serve the people unless I do the corrupt thing. So You have to destroy the entire system. Well, the system says, oh, no. That's not how that works. We just have a horrible system, and then we target the people we're mad at and put them in jail. That's how we police our horrible system, by ensuring that everybody's corrupt. So if you make me angry and don't vote the way I tell you to vote, do what I tell you to do, that's when I send the cops on you. That's why. I need a scapegoat. I put the cops on you. You're in my way. I put the cops on you. You start getting a little bit too uppity. I send the cops on you. That's how that works. Well, Adams is saying the same thing. He's saying, I did nothing wrong. You might go, Larry, you're exaggerating. Oh, no. His chief counsel ran off. His chief counsel, she's like, okay, this going south. I'm out. She left. That's his chief counsel. She's supposed to be here for that. She's supposed to make sure he doesn't get in trouble. And if he does get in trouble, she defends him. She's like, I'm out. I'm out. Because she knows there's no defense. I'm going to add one more. You say, wait a minute. It's just Eric Adams. No, it's a bunch of them. 2 fire chiefs are now in trouble. But this is the weird one. They've been charged with taking bribes to get things built in New York City after the lockdowns. Why? Because our system in New York City is so broken that the only way to get anything done is to expedite it. By the way, expediting is legal in New York City. In fact, it's encouraged. What does an expediter mean? And this is legal in New York City, and you can do it. You hire somebody to make things go faster for you. You might go, that sounds insanely corrupt and just helps the wealthy. Yes to both of those things. And it's a legal thing. It's called, I'm an expediter. That's their title. You pay them to get things built, to get things moved, to get things done in the city, because the bureaucracy is so broken. And the funny part is, the city agencies prefer dealing with the expediters. Yeah. The system is made to be corrupt. The system is made to be broken. And then decide, oh, now I'm going to enforce the rules. Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Does it sound too crazy? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and, of course, your chat after a break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening.
I got an update email about that Tom Golisano announcement. Came in my inbox during last hour's show. Forwarded it to you. He made a whole bunch of charitable donations to Western New York charities.
999 Tech to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Prop 1 could legalize discrimination against women and girls. It would jeopradize programs for senior citizens. No wonder it's being opposed by liberals, conservatives, and moderates alike.
Oh, it's because I unmuted that to tell you.
Vote no on Prop 1.
If you say yes to protecting children, vote no on Prop 1.
If you say yes to parental agency, vote no on Prop 1.
If you say yes to senior housing, vote no on Prop 1.
By voting no on Prop 1, you're saying yes to equality and common sense. Prop 1, bad for our daughters, bad for female athletes, bad for senior citizens, bad for religious liberty.
On November 5th, vote for equality and progress. Vote no on Prop 1.
Paid for by the Coalition to Protect Kids, New York.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes. Larry Sharpe, 585-346-3000. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So glad you gave me a chunk of your afternoon. I was talking about expediters, which, by the way, legal in New York State and New York City. Here's what's also legal, just so you're aware of this. In New York State and New York City, you may be an elected official and a consultant, an expediter. I know you're saying, what? Literally, how can you do both? How does that work? I don't get it. Well, it's legal. People do it all the time. Mayor Bloomberg did it. But here is the catch. It is illegal federally. Yeah. So these two fire department chiefs are being attacked by the feds. Yeah. But here's the more important question. Why? One would assume, from everything I've seen at least, that everything they've done has been within New York City, right? Their power, their purview is within New York City. So if they take money, right? You take money as a consultant and you then expedite somebody's business or somebody's building getting built, in theory, New York State, it's tough to prosecute. It's tough to prosecute. You can, but it's hard. But the feds can do whatever they want. But the question is, how can the feds step in? They shouldn't be able to. This is all done within New York City. Their purview is New York City. These people are New York City people done in New York City. How do the feds step in? This isn't cross anything. It makes no sense. In fact, it's almost impossible to prosecute at a state level, which is why they did it. Do you think that all these people doing it do it because they want to be corrupt? No. They think, oh, everybody's doing it because everybody is doing it. No, I'm saying this openly. No one's getting mad at me. I've been saying this for years. Years ago, again, if you've been paying attention to me, you know that one of the things I do is I consult on criminal cases with defense attorneys. One of my friends was arrested for this exact same thing. Everything he did as a consultant, and he was also elected official, utterly legal, everything he did was done within New York City. Everyone he talked to, everything he did was within New York City. And that was legal. And other people have been doing it and are probably doing it right now as we speak. So the feds came in and said he's doing something illegal federally. That's true. That's true. So why would they get involved? I'm going to tell you why. The feds came in and said, well, he used his cell phone. I'm not joking. And they said, well, if he used his cell phone, there is a chance, nothing sure, but maybe that his cell phone signal might have bounced off a tower that was in either Connecticut or New Jersey. And that makes it interstate and we can get involved. Yes, that was their logic. And judges went, yep, that makes sense. And they were totally on board. What actually happened? What actually happened was he was targeted. And once you're targeted, you're guilty. As Stalin said, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. This is where we are right now in New York. The entire system is so corrupt. The entire system is so broken that if you actually want to do something, you actually want to make something happen, you almost have to do stuff that is risky, if not illegal, maybe corrupt, or you have to change the entire system, or you have to not do anything. And that's what they actually want. Do nothing. Let it keep going. A slow decay. Let it collapse. And if you do anything, do it the way we say is good, or we will target you. And when we target you, you're going down. Now, who left? It was the chief counsel who left. The chief lawyer left. The one who knows the system. She ran. She was the smartest of the bunch. She was like, this is going bad. I'm out. She knew it was done. She packed and ran. Everybody else is staying there thinking, oh, I'm okay because I'm the mayor. Oh, I'm okay because I'm a fire chief. Oh, I'm okay because I'm the police commissioner. No, the police commissioner stepped down. He stepped down too. He's worried. He stepped down. 2 fire chiefs are in trouble. Mayor's in trouble. Everybody's in trouble. The smartest one was the lawyer. She packed up and ran as soon as she could. She's probably copping a deal right now. She's probably talking to the feds right now, making up a deal so that she doesn't, get targeted. She's going to join the guys. She's going to join the empire, right? She's, for you Star Wars fans, she's going to be a Lando Calrissian. Oh, some of you get that. She's going to be that, and so that she could not get in trouble. This part that people don't get, they think you can just do X or Y. No. And once you become the rebel, now you get targeted. Do I know if Eric Adams is corrupt? I don't know it, but I would assume he is. But do I think he's any more corrupt than the last guys or the other people around? No. The system encourages them to be corrupt. The system encourages people who are corrupt to join and people who aren't to become corrupt. It encourages this. It is very difficult to survive in that world, particularly when the FBI can walk in and say, oh, you used your cell phone? Well, now you're subject to federal crimes. And you might say, why does that matter, Larry? Why does it matter for the feds? Here's why. That is how the local Democratic establishment, the local party bosses, can outsource their own bloody hands. The cat's paw becomes the feds. Not just that. The conviction rate of the feds is about 98, 99%. The odds of you getting around a federal conviction, wow, very tough. It can be done. To be forward, I'm very proud. I was part of a legal team that actually beat the feds and the IRS. The IRS has if I remember right, a 99.75 conviction rate. We were the 0.25. So I was part of that. Very happy about that. And by the way, the guy who did it, I was on a team. Some of you have seen him, Venu Varghese, the best defense attorney in New York City. So yes, we were part of that. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is when you have a system that is so corrupt, it is so hard to survive within it without being corrupt too. So let me grab a couple comments from the internet. I appreciate it. William says, well, how corrupt is he? I'd say very. First a cop, now a politician, totally corrupt. Well, I don't think that's fair, to be forward. I'm not one of those guys who is like back to blue no matter what, or, all cops are bad. I'm neither of those two. I think cops are human beings, and you find bad ones and good ones. The worse system you have, the worse cops you have. The better system you have, the better cops you have. So I'm not sure about that part. But for him to do what he's done, yeah, you're right, on an individual basis. That's true. The Liberty Lady says, Larry Sharpe, is the rumor true that you may run for mayor of New York City in 2025 as an independent? If so, explain why you can't run as libertarian. Two things. I'll cover both of those. One, I am considering a run for mayor of New York City. I've not decided. I've not put together a committee, but I'm just watching how bad it is and thinking maybe I should jump in now. I'm just being very forward. So I'm considering it. That's true. Why not as libertarian? I can't. There's no libertarian party in New York State. It's been destroyed. It will not be reconstituted this year. It's gone. There's no libertarian party in New York State. It doesn't exist. That is the reason why. I hope you understand why. That's the reason. Should I run? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and more of your chat after the break.
God bless America.
WYSL
WYSL. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll have partly cloudy skies. That full harvest moon will be out there, even a partial eclipse tonight. Keep an eye out for that. Temps tonight near 60. On Wednesday, another good-looking day, sun and clouds near 80. Same on Thursday. Looks mostly sunny Friday and dry into the weekend, with temperatures Saturday and Sunday in the 70s and low 80s. I'm Rich Canilia, WYSL.
Summer rolls on and your new wheels from Victor Chevrolet. Now, lease a 2024 Chevy Trailblazer LT for just $219 a month for 27 months. $2,500 cash or trade equity required. If you need a pickup, get the versatility of a 2024 Chevy Silverado LT Crew Cab. Just $349 a month for 27 months. $2,500 cash or trade equity at closing. And then there's the 2024 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive LT. Just $209 a month for 27 months. $2,500 cash or trade equity at closing. And don't forget, Victor Chevrolet has an unbeatable pre-owned selection. Whether it's a Chevy or not, trust your vehicle to our Chevy certified service department. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Together, let's drive. Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit VictorChevrolet.com. These lease deals include returning lessee rebate. All factory rebates, incentives, and discounts are applied. Security deposit is waived. 10,000-mile allowance per year, 25 cents each additional mile. Must have lease in household. Tier 1 credit approval required. Lessee responsible for repair and maintenance. Conditions apply. Get details at dealer.
Here come those cool late summer nights, soon to be replaced by bitter cold. Slash your heating costs this fall and winter with Air & More infrared zone heaters. They can save you big compared to just using your furnace, especially if you're still using fuel oil. Air & More heat is healthier. No burning of oxygen and particulates to dry out your nose, sinuses, and skin. You get even quiet heat that fills rooms with warmth, not dust and blower noise, oxygen-rich and moist. Air & More heaters are completely safe. No exposed hot surfaces or heating elements to pose shock or fire hazards. Plus, complete safety for children and pets. For a limited time, save even more with pre-season sale pricing. Save $30 on either size Air & More, whether you buy the Comfort Deluxe or the Compact Comfort Buddy for smaller areas. Specify discount code WYSL in your shopping cart. Free shipping in the continental U.S. Copper PTC technology means there are no bulbs to replace ever. Built like a battleship, maintenance-free Air & More infrared zone heaters are the way to really save on heating bills. Call 800-707-8725 or visit more.com.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Ciders, seltzers, and selkies presented by Blue Barn Cidery and Bud Light Seltzer will be at Batavia Downs on Saturday, September 28th. Sample local and national ciders and seltzers while taking in live racing that night on the track. The cost is $30 and you get back $15 in free play and a free wager on racing. Head to BataviaConcerts.com for tickets.
The following is brought to you by the Allegheny County Scope.
This is attorney Paloma Capana. Wondering what happened to your local gun shop? New York statistics recently released by the ATF show nearly 300 licensed dealers have turned in or not renewed their license in the past 2 years.
Okay,
That's
we
a
have
decline
Keith.
of more than 10%. Licensed dealers in New York are declining at an average rate of more than 10 per month.
Please consider joining Allegheny County Scope 716-913-8176.
FM Talk. Keep your vehicle in tip-top shape. For quality, affordable vehicle service, rely on Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge Road. Rock Auto has what your car, truck, or SUV needs. Oil change, brakes, suspension, alignments, exhaust, air conditioning, and tires. Check their Google reviews as one of Rochester's best for customer satisfaction. Owner and U.S. Army veteran Dave Ferris welcomes military service personnel and veterans. Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge Road, just east of Mount Reed, 434-5010.
Hey, this is Stryker that calls into WYSL's PCP Boys. I'd love to have you come listen to my podcast, Just an Old Guy with a Mic. If you like the content of WYSL, I think you'll like my podcast, Just an Old Guy with a Mic, on Podbean, Spotify, and Amazon podcast apps.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. 585-346-3000 is the number to reach out to me. Been talking about New York City, corruption, the system that kind of makes you become corrupt even if you weren't, or you got to walk away. Nothing but bad. Want to grab a call if I could. It's Keith. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Hopefully you and yours are too. I was of a mind that no matter what topic you were going to bring up today, I was going to try and get in that today is National Constitution Day, September 17th, 1787. Do I dare to phrase it, put you on the spot, and so far speaking for all Americans, do our founding documents, including the Constitution, do they matter today? Do people really, without me being foolish about it, go about their daily activities really thinking and knowing for themselves that the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights really still do have impact on us 248 years later, or to say it, have they become passe and even Squaresville? So
let me touch that, Keith. I think I have been afraid of both sides of that argument. Years ago, maybe about 10 years ago or so, I was very scared of having a convention of states. I thought that's the end of the world. We can't do it. Everybody become a communist. They'll throw it all in the garbage. And I've changed my mind on that. Around 2018 or so, I started to rethink and think maybe this is a good idea. And the reason why I thought it was a good idea was exactly what you said. And they're kind of related. Why I was against it is I thought nobody cares about the Constitution. Nobody cares about the Bill of Rights. Nobody cares about our Declaration of Independence. This is a terrible idea. We'll become a communist country in 5 seconds. That's what I thought. But then when people told me, they said, no, Larry, the good thing about this is people start talking about it again. People start seeing the value of it again. They'll re-energize and rethink. And I thought, I'd rather gamble on that. Because I see, to your point, Keith, there is a long, it's been years, decades of decay where people have thought the Declaration of Independence has no value. The Constitution has no value. It's an old document that means nothing. And I would rather gamble on us kind of trying to reboot that, turn that around to think about it. The average American can only say that the First Amendment's about free speech, and they think free speech doesn't include hate speech. They think all of those things. They think Declaration of Independence is dumb. They think the Bill of Rights is silly. They think literally in New York City, the gentleman, Dexter Taylor, when he was sentenced, the judge said literally, she said, the Second Amendment doesn't exist in this courtroom. So judges in New York State say the Bill of Rights doesn't matter. So I'll answer, I know I went long-winded on this, but I will answer your question. I think, yes, you are correct. Most people do not care about those documents at all. They don't see the value in it at all. They think it's silly. And I think that's a terrible thing. I think they are important. Sorry, they should be. Yes, they should be important to every American. And any way we can bring that back up, I'm okay with it. Did I answer your question, Keith?
Yes, to say it in closing, since civics classes are mainly not being taught,
yep,
and that people I'm afraid, since at my age, 68 going on 69, I say, will the American flag still be flying over the nation's capital if I should come back from the dead 50 years from now? Really, Ronald Reagan said we're only a generation away always from losing our American way of life.
Yep.
Do you see as time goes on, for us conservatives, no matter even if Trump gets in there, with these young people today, I'm really afraid that the great American experiment could be done over with in the next half century. For you, apparently, you said it, the Libertarian Party, at least for now, it's been put on the shelf. Why not start up a Constitution Party and really grab people's attention that no matter what you think of our nation's founding documents, if we don't have the framework that we all live in, that we all count on, we won't have any country at all. And that's what the American people are missing out on today. They can ignore it at their own.
Let me cover those. All right. First piece. Do I think that the American experiment can go away? Yes, 100%. I think it can happen. I think that's absolutely possible. Why do you think I keep doing what I'm doing? Why am I still doing shows? Why am I still speaking? I'm literally going today. I'll be flying to Denver so I can speak at the Independent National Convention, which is for independent parties. I'll be there. Yang will be there also. Dennis Kucinich will be there also. Marianne Williamson will be there also. So people will be there trying to talk about independent parties. We haven't given up yet. So yes, the way we fix this is through localism. The reason why there's no civics is because the federal government gives money, billions of dollars. New York State, it's over $6 billion, maybe almost like $8 billion now, into the school systems and says, we don't care about civics. We don't care about home ec. We don't care about shop. So the school systems stop doing them because the federal government gives them $8 billion, $10 billion, depending upon the state, obviously. It gives them a bunch of money. So localism, the independent parties were still moving forward. That's how you begin to fix it. Now, is there a Constitution Party? Already exists. Another guy who runs it, Jim Kleinman, I think is his name. They actually have a candidate. His name is Terry Randall. I got that right? No, Randall Terry. Randall Terry. I got the name. Two first names. Randall Terry. Yes. And so they have a candidate already. He's only in about, I think, 20 states. So starting a new party. Do you know how hard that is? Bobby Kennedy Jr. spent $20 million trying to get on the ballot in all 50 states to start a party, and he had to jump on a Trump train. It is not easy at all, Keith. I get what you're saying. It is not easy. There is a Constitution Party. It's been around for a while. It can't move forward because it can't raise money because it takes, again, it's clearly over $20 million just to get in the ballot in all the states in one race. And a guy with his last name, Kennedy, and $20 million couldn't do it. That means almost no one can. Now, the reality of it is, libertarians could have. We blew it this year. We blew it in 2020. And New York State blew it in 2020, ignored me in 2022, blew it here in 2024. Let's hope we can reconstitute it in 2026. That's what we're hoping for. I know, Keith, you and I have chatted many times. You've teased me and called me an optimist. As always, guilty as charged. I accept your charge. I accept your label. I am an optimist. I do want to move forward. I think we have to keep fighting. That is my answer. I know it isn't perfect, but I do think so. I hope I answered your question.
In one sentence, Americans are going to wake up one day and find they are Venezuela. Really. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Keith. So, yes, let me grab a couple. He's got a valid point. Keith always does. Still's got valid points, 100%. All right, let me grab some more of these comments. There are so many of them here. I do appreciate that. Peter says, does that make it right if everyone is doing it? Yes and no. Right to be forward, Peter. Yes and no. Most people who get into government don't know it's this way. They think it's about doing the right thing. They think there are systems that work well. They believe that. So now you're in this thing. And what if you're a person who wants to serve people, who wants to help, who wants to make something happen? What do? Do you walk away? Some people do. And you're finding more and more people walking away. Particularly you see it in the police force here in New York City. They're like, I'm not doing it. I'm out. People do walk away. They do. But what about people who want to help? What do? Not just that. What about as you move into a system and you see leaders who you respect, and those leaders who are trying to do the right thing wind up doing some things that are not so good? You start doing it. Not just that. It isn't like you walk in and they go, hi, Peter, Here's some corrupt stuff to do. That's not what happens. It's like that boiling frog analogy, right? Here's a little bit, here's a little bit, here's a little bit, and before you know it, you're in trouble. Remember the movie with Denzel Washington, Training Day? That's the kind of thing that keeps happening. And before you know it, you're caught. I'm not saying it's an excuse, and I'm not saying it's right. Please, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying when you have bad systems, people respond to that. And that's the problem. And I want to change that. That was my issue. So, yes. All righty. No Sambas. Mike is here. He says, is there a federal grant involved? Or may that claim be justified? Because closing borders and illegal aliens are federal. I'm not sure where you're going with that. Was that from me? I'm not sure that was from. Sorry about that. I have a lot of people who give me stuff. So, yes. Okay. Let me see if I can grab this. The anti-corporator says, I thought it was international because the people were alleged to be working is unregistered foreign agents in Turkey. Yes, that's what he's working on that, right? The issue is Eric Adams may go away or may have to step down or may be charged because of that. My point was he was saying he was doing stuff that was unethical years ago. And New York State said, oh, shh, we all do that. Be quiet. Shh, don't say anything. This is what they're getting him on. Now, to be forward, I'm sure Eric Adams has a whole bunch of stuff they could have got him on, but they get him on this one. And there's the other piece. They get him because they're unregistered foreign agents. That's the problem also. It's not because he's corrupt. Taking money from foreign agents is legal. They just have to fill out the paperwork. I wish I was joking. I'm not. It's completely fine to take money from foreign agents. That's fine. Just do your paperwork. That's all that matters. So he's not being, that I know. I mean, we'll see if he's charged. Not because he did something corrupt, because they didn't do the paperwork on being corrupt. There is my issue. I hope that makes sense, right? That's okay. Peter goes on to say, I'm okay because everyone's dirty. Really? I know, it sounds horrible. Sometimes sadly true. Is it that crazy? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and more of your chat. I do see you after the break.
This is a joke. Our staff is not being paid enough. We're not being paid enough. And we're allowing people to tell us that we should not look for a raise increase.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth.
An oldie but goodie Eric Adams cut. So we have two callers. First we'll have Roger, and then we have Craig from Clinton.
Relentlessly targeting your
Thanks.
business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your account.
Yeah, I'll throw another one coming back.
Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Yeah, you see this most likable spokesperson poll?
Really? I might know somebody. Oh, we're looking forward to this today, aren't we?
Seriously, guys? We're a team, we're not competing against each other.
Ooh, who's a good spokesperson?
Two puppies? I did not expect that from you.
One of them's for you. Oh, who's a good spokesperson? Yes, go to West Her. Welcome to West Her.
Yeah, so these clips were when he was an assemblyman.
Gun Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
And I say that to the governor, I say that to the mayor. I say that to anyone. And anyone here that believe you are so marginal that you want to be a porpoise, then you do it on your own. Show me the money.
Well, this is the thing I talked about, Eric Adams. And the one thing I will give him credit for. He's open. I'll give him credit for that, right? He's open. Most of these guys pretend like it's not about the money. He's like, no. It's about the money. At least he's saying it. Most of these people say, no, it's not about me giving my friends jobs. It's about who's right. He's like, no, I'm giving my friends jobs. And that's the joke. He's about the money. He's about giving his friends jobs. And we're all like, all right, we all do it. To Peter's point, Peter's head's probably ready to explode right now. He's like, yeah, okay, we're going to do it. Oh, but you didn't fill paperwork out. When you took that dirty money from the Turkish people, that's fine. But the paperwork, that's it. You're going away. You're going away now. You should have done the paperwork. So then it'd be okay, but take the dirty money, but just got a paperwork behind the dirty money. My God, that's where we are right now. Let me grab a call if I could. I'm going to grab Roger. How are you, sir?
Larry.
What's going on?
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Good,
I can.
Good. Okay. Yep. Going on I'm in your neck of the woods, going to, getting ready to go on to Frog's Neck into, back into Queens after dropping off a customer there.
Okay. What's going on?
What do you call it? Oh, yeah. So you've been toying around with mayor this whole year. So I just say go for it. You got ranked choice voting. Shoot your shot. 2.
I appreciate it, my friend.
What I seen with AOC, for instance, she went in. Some people don't believe that she went in with the best intentions. A lot of people believe that she was CIA, so on and so forth. But I still believe she went in with the best intentions, and then the system made her corrupt. So, like you said, you could go in with the best of intentions in the government, but the system, the partisanship and all that stuff just makes you corrupt. Now, number 3, yes, that's pretty, when you talking about the state conventions and stuff, yeah, I first got hip to that when Cenk Uygur from Young Turks was talking about doing that to have a constitutional amendment started by the states to get money out of politics, right?
Yes.
I think what I would like is the amendment to end all amendments, which would be a national citizen ballot initiative amendment, where we get on a federal level, we as a country pass the laws, repeal the laws, and ratify our own amendments to the U.S. Constitution.
That seems scary to me, right? That part seems scary. I like the localism aspect of citizen initiatives, but I worry that this will be what kind of the case point. If 51% of Americans could change the Constitution, I feel like it weakens the Constitution. That scares me. I like localism. I think locally we should have to change our laws left and right. But I feel like there has to be something that is really hard to change, that is really tough, that is the center of our nation, that is our core. I worry about, unless you made a very high bar, like you said, not 51%, but like 80% or something. I made that number up. Then maybe. Anyway, thank you for the call, Roger. I appreciate it. And thank you for your confidence in me running for governor and recognizing that, boy, it is tough to not be corrupt when the whole system is corrupt. Let me grab one more call if I could. This is Craig. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Larry. How are you?
What's going on?
Oh, well, so you're talking corruption and you're talking political leaders and all this stuff. And you mentioned the feds coming after people and how it's not really genuine and they just weaponize it and all that stuff. Well, one thing that I've noticed with this second assassination attempt on Donald Trump, this is wild because it's just now it's being reported like, oh yeah, well he had another. It's crazy.
Yeah,
we're in a crazy.
Like whatevs. Like he had chicken for dinner and he almost got killed. You know, whatever.
It's unbelievable to me. So my point is, I see a lot of people on the left. they're not even fazed by it. They don't care.
Right.
And they roll their eyes at it. They're like, yeah, well, whatever, better luck next time. And I think it has something to do with what you talk about with the loss of confidence in our national institutions. They're like, whatever, it's just made up. It's not really real. And it's probably real. So it's like, this is something that we should be fired up about, but everyone treats it so passively because they don't trust the system. And I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, no. I feel like people seem to almost believe like they can't do anything. And because they can't do anything, they tend to not care. They feel like their vote doesn't count. They feel like their voice doesn't count. They feel like nothing matters and nothing counts. And because of that, I think you're right. They start going, whatevs, right? I look at it in my own world. I have no say in my local government. I have no say in my state government. I have no say in my federal government. My vote doesn't matter. So it's easy for me to say, well, stuff sucks. I'm just going to run my life and whatever happens, happens. And I hope I have a good king or I have a good queen. I hope. But I'm trying to do something. I'm with you, man. It's a tough spot. And I think people are giving up. And with the left-right paradigm and no independence, the other guy is the ultimate in evil. And if he's the ultimate in evil, then who cares what happens to him? Am I wrong?
No, this is what I got angry when my father is the one that told me about the assassination attempt. And I got angry because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Because I'm like, oh, okay, another one. What? Because I was kind of on the other side of the coin, which is what does it really matter? Because what's going to make people realize that this is outrageous? And then once they realize, how are we going to get them to do something about it? And I was just angry for the fact that this seems like this is just we're going to accept this just like we accept everything else. Someone will have an 100%. Election. The next time around, they might get shot at 2 or 3 times. This is like Banana Republic stuff. I know that's a cliche now, but the fact that that's a cliche is ridiculous.
I agree. Craig, thank you so much for the call.
All right. Thank you. I'm a little fired up, so I appreciate you.
I get it. I'm happy. Absolutely. A couple more comments, if I could. Jean says, our government doesn't care about the Constitution anymore. She's right. See that, Keith? It isn't just the people. It's the government, too. I completely agree. Yes. Valerie says, hey, Larry, I'm told you're running for mayor. I have considered it. I'm not saying I'm doing it, but I appreciate all the support. John says, what Rogers advocated for is what the founders overtly wanted to avoid. Horrible idea. I'm with you on that one, John. I do not like the idea of national, unless the bar is crazy high, maybe I'd consider it, but without a very high bar, no way I would even consider something. Absolutely. Yes. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will be off for several days because I will be in Denver at the Independent National Convention. I will see you all very soon.